The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello and welcome to this quick 30-minute guide to Office 365 designed for owners and decision makers of small and medium businesses as just that, an overview to give you a look at Office 365, some of the theory, a bit of practice, just to give you a flavour of what Office 365 is and can do for your business, and if it may or may not be something worth looking into deeper. So to start off with some basics, the cloud, what is it? It's a phrase, a word for the internet, various claims to its origin going back nearly 20 years ago, but to me it's essentially something intangible that affects many people. When something's in the cloud, it's generally not in the internet or on the internet. It's held in a data center. These are special locations with hugely sophisticated power, environmental controls, security, and very fast and resilient internet connections. Some are even near rivers for the power they need to be generated. Very sophisticated environments, very different with the environment that your current servers, if you're running a small business, are in now. Cloud computing is a wide term. It generally describes software and services that are delivered over the internet. It's not a new concept. In actual fact, it goes back some time. For those of you who remember POP3 email, that's been available for many, many years. Well, essentially that is an early example of cloud computing. Software as a service is a phrase you'll hear about quite a lot nowadays. It is a description of a bit of software that is delivered to you over the internet, and it's generally accessed via a web browser, Internet Explorer, Chrome or Safari. So all these terms are gaining momentum. You will have heard a lot about them. Why now? Well, really, one of the key aspects is fast and reliable internet. With the advent of fibre broadband, these things are available for the first time now. Also, the technologies Ethernet, First Mile and lease lines are other internet access technologies. They're all coming down in price. Okay, so Office 365, what is it? Essentially, it's a set of plans that Microsoft offer with services and support supplied over the internet or via the cloud, as I described earlier. All the plans, of which I'll go through in the next slide, include full business class email with a Microsoft Exchange system, very similar to your current business email system now, I suspect. Some of the plans actually include the full Microsoft Office suite of software. So rather than buy on a CD and load it on your computer, you can now access this software through these plans from Microsoft, and they're loaded, downloaded and installed on your local computer over the internet. And also most plans include file sharing and collaboration services, and I'll show you these later. It's an annual subscription rental model. Lots of providers of software are going this way now. And as information is on the internet, the information that you store, your files, your email, your documents, then any member with our internet connection with just about any device can access this information. It's not restricted to staff that have access to your company's network. You don't have to use a VPN to access your files and documents. So these are the plans. Just to say, these aren't all the plans and all the features. I've just summarised the plans I feel are relevant to small and medium businesses, along with the features that are also relevant. You can see that along the top here are the plans, starting with the Exchange Online plan, which is the basic email plan. There are a couple of small business plans, and you'll note that the small business plans can have up to 25 users but no more. There's a mid-size plan that can have up to 300 users and no more. And there are two enterprise plans, two main enterprise plans. These two plans, along with the Exchange Online plan, you can have any amount of users on, an infinite amount of users, from one to many, many thousands. So, as I mentioned before, all the plans have hosted email. You can see here. It's only the E3, the top enterprise plan, that has email archiving, legal hold, and other sophisticated email handling features. May or may not be important to you. If you're a legal, financial organisation, then those kind of things will be. You can see here that the premium small business plan, the mid-size plan, and the E3 plan all have the Microsoft Office software available. So if you subscribe to those plans, then you can download and run the full up-to-date copy of Microsoft Office. And presence, messaging, online meeting, chat, video conferencing between staff and suppliers are available in all the plans bar the basic email only, along with a personal area where you can store your files. Microsoft at the moment call this SkyDrive. If you know Dropbox, it's very similar. It's a folder on your computer that's synchronized with an area in the cloud on the internet. You have also shared storage. A good way of explaining the difference between the two of these is that if you're used to My Documents, that's the personal cloud SkyDrive area, as opposed to a file server share where you may store your documents to share with other users. Well, that's very much the shared cloud storage area. So you can see here again that all the plans have these two features other than the main email only plan. Office Web Apps as well. This is a feature that I'll show you later, where even if you don't have Office loaded on your local computer, you can still open, view and edit basic and fairly complex editing of Office documents through your web browser. Very useful if you say go into a meeting, you want to make a change before emailing a document to the person you're going to meet with. You go into an internet cafe, they don't have Office on the computer there. Well, you can just bring up Office 365, you can open your document in a web browser, edit it and then email it on. And lastly, sync to your network credentials. The small business plans don't have this, but the other plans do. As you can see here, that's quite important. If you're logging into your business network, you don't want to log in yet again on the internet to Office 365. So this feature synchronizes the security between your Office network and the 365 platform on the internet. So you only have to remember one set of credentials. Listed down here are the pricing per user per month. This is the same pricing whether you go for one or 1,000. You can see here it starts at £2.60 per user per month. The small plans with and without Office. The mid-sized plan is just under £10 a month. The enterprise plan without Office is £5 a month. With Office is £15 per month. So that's all the features that Office 365 provides you. Okay, so who suits Office 365 and what environments suit it? I will consider what don't in the next slide. Certainly companies with an aging infrastructure, an older server, 3, 4, 5 plus years old, small business server 2003 or the early 2008 small business servers, then you'll be looking at upgrading this IT infrastructure, or you should be, and Office 365 is something that may suit you. If you have remote workers and you deal with suppliers and staff that don't work in the office, then Office 365 can really suit you. This is quite a big feature of Office 365. And if you prefer a subscription rental model as opposed to an outright purchase model, then Office 365 will suit you more than not. So coming on to who and what might not suit Office 365, well, if you have very large documents, graphical documents, photo editing, if you're a design house, then these very large documents aren't particularly well suited to working in the internet and being stored on the internet. In a similar way, if you've got a bad, intermittent or slow internet connection, well then Office 365 might not suit you. Office 365 doesn't work well with old software, Windows XP and Office 2003. If you're using that in your office currently and you're running this software, then Office 365 won't work well or at all with it. If you're running XP and Office 2003, well, you really need to be looking quite seriously at replacing this technology anyway. Organisations that have invested quite a significant amount on their current IT and it's all working, the old saying, if it isn't broken, don't touch it. Well, if everything's working, you haven't got any problems, then you'll need to look at Office 365 only if specific features can help you. And of course, if you don't like the recurring payment method, prefer to have a capital expense up front, and then use your assets to the max, then again Office 365 may not suit you. The pros and cons of the Office 365 model versus the traditional on-premise model that quite a lot of companies are still running. This is the on-premise model up here. The pros are, well, your data is on your server, on that machine there in the corner or in your server room. You can see it, you can touch it, you know where it is. Also, if you've got large files, as I mentioned earlier, then if you're working on shared documents that are very large and complex, then these are still best dealt with in an on-premise method with the server on site. So the contras of running your servers and all your services on-premise, as you do now, are security. Your environment isn't as secure as if it were in a data center. It's more susceptible to theft and fire and all kinds of other threats. The model where you have your data in your network is also in your office is also not so good for remote users. They have to VPN in, and we all know that VPN, whilst it does what it does and it works, it's not the best of technologies. And capital cost up front can also be viewed as a contra on the model of having your servers on site, depending on your point of view, which is why I've got a question mark against it. Also under Office 365 question mark, because again depends how you view the recurring cost versus capital cost model. On Office 365 though, a pro would be remote users and security. Those are two areas that Office 365 can very much improve upon existing methods. And again, touching on these, the contras of Office 365 if you're using older software, or if you've got a far from perfect internet connection, well then Office 365, yeah, those are the contras. So is it right for your business or not? Well, you don't have to go completely for Office 365 and not have any servers in-house. The way forward we find most businesses going is a mix of what suits you and your business or organisation. Sometimes you will have your documents in your office for the reasons I've mentioned previously. Sometimes you'll be able to put the documents on Office 365 on the internet so you can collaborate and work with remote users. Certainly for most of the time, for most companies we come across nowadays, it's best to have your email in the cloud on a service like Office 365. So you may have also some line of business software, some account software or industry specific software you're running that will still need a server to enable you to run it in-house. You can mix and match and have Office 365 for what suits you, email and some documents, and a smaller file server in-house for what works for that, which is your accounts and line of business software. I think you'll find slowly as time goes on most software will move over to being cloud-based and software as a service, SaaS, as I described earlier. So very in the future, very few pieces of software will only be able to be run on a server. So I'm going to take you on to a demo. The demonstration here of what Office 365 looks like. So if you can see here, I've opened up my web browser, and in my web browser I've gone to our SharePoint site. You can see at the top here, this green line, there are all the areas of Office 365 that you can access. Your calendar, your email, newsfeed. SkyDrive is the personal cloud storage area, a bit like Dropbox but enterprise class that we discussed. And here within the main page is our shared team site. On the team site you can have a number of different areas. You can have discussion groups, pictures, calendars. We're going to concentrate here on documents. Now within the documents area, I've created a folder test for this webinar, and this area you can do a number of things. Let me show you some of the things that you might want to see. I can create a new document. So say I want to create a Word document. So I've created my Word document. It's taking me to the Word web app, which is the web version of Word. So I can create my documents, I can edit them, I can do most of the things that I may want to do in a document. I can insert and handle pictures. And as time goes on, Microsoft are improving this more and more. So almost every month I find that there are features that you can do within the Word application that you couldn't previously. It still, though, isn't as fully functional as the full version of Word on your local machine. So that's my document, file, exit, and you can see here I've created my document there. I've got some other documents here. I've got an Excel document here. I can click here. I can preview that Excel document. I can follow it if I click this button. So if anyone else updates it, I will get notified of that. I can also look at version history. So I can see the versions of the documents and the comments about the versions. I can share the document with other people outside my organization, either in a read-only or an edit way. And I can do other things like look at workflows, compliance. These are the more advanced features that I'm not going to get into today. So as these documents, you can click on them, you can view them. Here's me clicking on my Excel document, and here's me viewing it in my web browser. I can now edit it either in the web browser here, or I can edit it in my full local Excel program. So these are the documents here. So let me show you, if I move to Word and open Word now. So I created a document in Office 365, so how do I access that? How do I, from my local Word, access that document I created? Well, I'm going to go File, Open, My Computer, and Browse. And you can see here my favourites. I've got my SkyDrive area, which was similar, if you remember me saying, to the My Documents area, and I've got the Shared Documents area. So this is my Teams site that I showed you through the web browser earlier, and that was my test folder. And here are my documents. You can see here, this is the document that I just created earlier. So if I open that document, lo and behold, that's the document I created. I can make some changes, and then I can save that document or save as, Again, if I want to save it in the test folder, I can save it as test demo edit 1, and off it goes and saves it to the Office 365 platform. You can see down at the bottom there it says updating, and if I minimize this and go back to Office here, press refresh, there we go, that's available. So if I were a remote user, I could instantly access that document wherever I was, whether I was on an iPad, a smartphone, a tablet of some description, or a home computer, or an internet cafe. So it's all about the ease of accessing the documents, creating them or viewing them on the internet, editing them on the internet, or locally, whatever way suits you and whatever you're doing at the time. Another thing I want to show you, you can see here that next to my name there's a little icon that is green, and that says that I'm available. If I go to my email and say I want to send a new email to Philip here, one of our senior engineers, it says it's yellow, and that shows me that Philip is away. This is all part of Office 365. It's a component called Link, but in essence it's a collaboration tool that allows you to tell whether or not staff of the company, people you're working with, are available or not. And if they're available, you can chat to them with instant messaging. If you remember the old MSN that got very popular, this is a business or enterprise version of that. You can call them if your computer's got an audio microphone speakers. You can video chat to them. You can also share your desktop with your co-workers. You can share a meeting or a whiteboard. It's sort of a collaboration tool. What's nice also is it's intelligent, so this tool reads everybody's diary, and if you're in a meeting it'll show you're in a meeting and not available, so you don't need to have to update the software. It's a really useful feature if you're finding people are working remotely, either in the same office but different floors, different offices, or in different locations, and it helps collaboration and communication between staff. Okay, so that really completes the presentation. That's all the detail I'd like to go into at the moment. It was only ever an outline. I hope that's given you a rough idea of what Office 365 is and whether or not it's suitable for you, and you might want to look into it further. We're Greencorn, an IT company based in southeast England, dealing with small and medium companies, organisations in the areas listed here. Companies generally from 5-10 users up to 100 users in size. Our focus is in what you need to run your IT system properly. We provide proactive full IT service and products around that. We feel more cost effective than a sort of reactive only type of service that is very commonly available nowadays. Anyway, that's enough about us. These are the contact details. If you want to know more about Office 365, then please get in contact with us, email or call, and we'll be happy to help and provide more information. Thank you for your time today.